Hello. So, hello. Okay, so now we're going to go over power chords. So if you watched the last video, you would learn about chords kind of in general, how to learn them and stuff like that, which is very useful for acoustic and electric guitar. But something that if you're playing more, I don't know, like rock or metal or whatever, where you're using a bunch more distortion, a lot of the kind of traditional chords that you'd use on the acoustic sound kind of just don't sound that great. I don't know, there's a lot more harmonics, I guess, going on, and so it just clashes. I don't really know why, but it's just typically not what you use. So I've got my handy dandy electric, which I pull out only on special occasions these days because I don't use it a whole lot. But the idea behind power chords is partly for other chords there are major or minor chords. So like if I'm playing, you know, in G or something, like, well, let's go with E. It's an easier one to show. So E, it's an E major, and it's really because of this note. Nope, what the? Sorry about that. It's because of this note right there that it's a major chord. Because with simple change of this, it's a minor chord. So, and that's just the difference between a major third and a minor third. So the idea behind power chords is you are taking that note out completely. So you're only left with the 1, the 5, and the octave. So the 1 is just the root of whatever it is. So if you're playing an E, the E is the 1. If you're playing, I don't know, a G, the G is the 1. You're playing an L, I don't know how, because that's not a real thing. So, yeah, things. And then the octave is obviously just, unless you don't know the word, then it's not that obvious. But the octave is the note it's the same note, but the next, I don't know, it's just an octave higher. I don't know how to say that in technical terms. Technically, it's an 8th higher, but so here's this one. That's its octave. And it just keeps going. So there's more. And then the 5 is kind of right between them. So typically, it's for almost all the strings, the easiest way to find it is it's 2 frets above and 1 string above. Okay, so like we'll go with G for example. I guess we could go with E. So here's E, and then 1 fret, 2 frets, but then hop up a string. Bam. So it's also called a perfect 5th because there's no major or minor of it. If you move it up, it becomes a diminished 5th, not a minor 5th. There's no such thing as a major or minor 5th, or an augmented 5th. So, and then the octave is then the string directly above, below in terms of this direction, but above in terms of pitch. That, the 5. So essentially it always looks like that shape right there. Kind of one of these guys going like that. Yeah, power chords. That should be the international symbol for power chords. Hey, what do you like to play? I like to play power chords. And it pretty much is. And so what's nice about this is you can move it pretty much all around. The first bunch of songs that I wrote were just like a bunch of stuff. They were pretty bad, but that was how I used them in any case. So, and the other thing is a lot of times I'll bar, just if I'm playing E, I guess I'll bar it, and then I'll move it up. So you can play Smoke on the Water. No, that's not Smoke on the Water, is it? I don't remember if that's Smoke on the Water or, I think so. Either way, so that's how to play that, and that's like the first song everybody learns pretty much. But yeah, so it's nice because you can just, and it doesn't also just have to be in minor, like that was a minor key, but it could also like, whatever, lots of stuff. And then another thing too, I forgot what it was. I was thinking of something minor, major. Whatever. I'll get back to it at some point, probably. Oh yeah, I remember. So, when, you know how in the last video I said when you're playing like G and stuff, make sure to leave these other strings really open, so that it sounds all nice and pretty, and not like sometimes that'll happen where you're just like, that sounds like junk. So what I do with bar chords is the exact opposite. I'll play these ones, but I'll leave my fingers right there over these guys. And I mean, technically that's making noise, but it makes such little noise in the context of that it doesn't, you don't even hear these strings doing that stuff. So I just still play the whole thing. And you can, I mean, you can just play these ones and just, you know, but it's just harder then to like really get into it, because then you have to still be really careful only to play those ones. So, and there's somewhere you can leave the strings open. When I first started playing in E, that's how I played all of my songs in E. It's just because these two notes are in E major, and so I would just. That's one other thing with that is that you can, some of them sound better if you actually, instead of having the fifth, what's the best way to explain this? So like in E minor, for example, so that's the E and the G or whatever, but then this guy between them sounds a little better to me. Well, it's actually, that's an inversion of the D, because I've got a D in there, and so man, this is getting too complicated to explain. But essentially, some of the times, it sounds nice, and you just work around it. If you, so these guys right there, see that? And then you move this guy down one string, and this guy down one string. Because it leads into the next chord nicely. So, okay, there's power chords. Now I'm going to quickly tune down to drop D. And there's an alternate tunings video that I'll have done as well, or that I'll do or whatever. But this is just kind of the most standard alternate tuning. It's just called drop D. And especially in metal, there's a lot of drop tunings used. Typically, a lot of times you'll be in some sort of drop tuning, but a lot of times like drop C or A or whatever, or on baritone guitars or something. So, actually, I'm not going to fast forward through this. I'll do it so that you can see. So this here is an E, that guy's a D, and I'm going to tune this down one whole step. And then the best way to check it is just with that D right here. So the one and the 4-string or 3-string, I guess. And then what's nice now is that, you know how like this, it was like that before? I tuned this one so that it moves up this way. It makes sense. So that now, these are still a fifth and an octave, but this is the octave of that. So now you just got the power chord just hanging out. So these 3 bottom strings, that's a chord. That's neat, right? And it's the same thing, you can just move it around a bunch of places. And you can do, other stuff with it too. Stuff. Okay. So yeah, and then that's just used for a lot of songs, but it's nice just because you can have an open thing there, so you can also like kind of, I don't know, whatever. And it's also used for a lot of blues stuff. Well, I don't play blues at all, so I was going to give a really bad example there. Sorry, I mess around a lot. If that bugs you, you can say so and I'll stop. I probably won't stop, actually. Very much. I'll do my best to stop, but it might not work. And then one final thing. The power chords, I'm going to leave it in drop D, but pretend it wasn't anymore. You can also play them on starting on the A string, you know, because these are all in fourths, so it just works that way. So you can play them starting on the A string, but if you tried starting it on the D, you would have to, because the B isn't tuned in a fourth like everything else is. You remember, because we can like tune everything that way, except for the B is on the fourth fret. Oh no! So you would have to play it like this. So you can still play it, but it's a little bit different, because the octave is like that instead. So this is still a fifth. Yeah, cool. And then if you have to play it up here, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you gotta play it like that. Lame sauce. So it's just one fret above, like that. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. But that's pretty much power chords, and they actually aren't necessarily that much more powerful, so I don't really know why they call it power chords, but there's a lot more flexible, I guess, than typical chords, because you can use them kind of however you want to, and stuff like that. So yeah, comment and junk. Let me know if you have any questions and all that stuff. Alright, peace. See you later.